This is the Bush Whisperer coming at you from the beautiful penguin sanctuary, accompanied by birdsong, Cape Agulhas, Boulders Beach. Silence. What can the shaman say about silence? Silence is the heart. Silence is the inner state. The universe is essentially the music of broken silence if we consider it deeply. And this is the purpose of the shaman drum. The shaman uses the drum to enter into the state of silence, which is the inner state of the childlike nature of being. And in that state of inner silence, the mind becomes quiet. For we think of silence as something that exists in the world, but we do not realize that if the mind is not quiet, we cannot even hear the silence. So the shaman drum is the instrument of attuning to the silence within, which is almost ironic in a way if one considers it. It's quite loud, it's quite rambunctious. But I have noticed that when in my deepest state of trance with the drum, I find an incredible state of silence around, and I swim off into the silence. Why is silence so important for the shaman? Silence is the key to understanding the rhythm of the heart, understanding the rhythm of the ocean, the rhythm of the wind, and listening to the pulse of the rhythm of the earth beneath our feet. Yes, there seems to be a continual pulsation of the rhythm. This is when one becomes attuned to the etheric field. For the etheric field is a pulsating field of energy. Well, energy becoming form, shall we say, if we want to be specific. And the shaman is very much attuned to these vibrational frequencies. And the vibrational frequency of the universe is essentially revealed to the heart in a state of silence. It is only when we're in a state of silence that we're able to fully appreciate this silent, quiet quality that is the driving force within the heart, producing life. And this vibrational field is carried by the resonance of the heart throughout all aspects of form in the body. And so the shaman is driving his heart drum with his drum in his hand, sort of like a helicopter pilot, if you will, throttling up the vibrational field till he can become as a bird and swim off into the night sky, swimming and jumping and diving and flying into the unknown, into the beyond, into the place within the great dream where the dreams reside, where the three dreams meet in the great dream river. And the shaman is also very much aware of the fact that in order for the silence and quiet of the heart to be revealed, nature is the key. So the shaman goes into the quiet places in nature to find this silence, to find this quiet. You could call this meditation. It's very much a big part of the shamanic path. Sitting in a state of quiet, silence, and just allowing oneself to be, without a particular form of meditation. For the shaman, meditation is a formless form of meditation. It is absorption into the heart of silence. And in the state of absorption into the heart of silence, the rhythm of the drum of the heart becomes the driving force. And one is able to change the rhythm of the heart with the hand drum. And this is why the hand drum is such an instrumental part of the shamanic kit. For it is sort of the way in which we change the timing of the heart. And in this space of silence within, one is able to appreciate the quiet, silent mystery of the world around us. And the shaman finds peace in this quiet, in this silence. And so we are able to understand that this life can seem noisy, but when one enters into a state of inner silence, the noise becomes music. For music is noise, if you really consider it. And it is the human heart that is able to entertain and ascertain the rhythm inherent in the silence, producing the sounds. For all sounds seem to come from a heart of silence, which is the essential vibrational nature of the universe. And the universe is like a big vibrating key, a musical key that changes as the frequencies of consciousness shift. And so the consciousness field becomes the musical instrument that the shaman wields. He uses the drum in order to influence this musical instrument. And this musical instrument produces the wondrous cadence of being that we're able to see when we're in the state of inner bliss. And the inner bliss is what shaman finds upon bird wings, when rising to the heights within, rising to the place from whence the inner dream finds its origin. The inner dream, all three of the inner dreams, shall we say, are essentially the molding liquid of this great dream of life that we experience as dream time. And the shaman is very much aware that silence is the fundamental glue that keeps it all together. So in a state of silence, one is able to remember, one is able to consider very deeply. One's mental focus becomes very much empowered, and one's heart becomes a key note of rhythm that's able to guide one, the guiding principle. And it's this guiding principle of the key note of the heart that reveals the omen in the world, also producing the energy and the powerful cone that will propel the consciousness of the shaman out of the body into the dream time, the great beyond, where the shaman is able to have those moments and whispers of eternity upon the ear of the soul and come back with the information necessary to produce the deep healing. And as a traveler in this great dream, the shaman carries the heart, carries the keynote with him in his silence as he moves, as the whisper of the wind. The silence of the river, the silence of the flames, the silence of the mountains, and the silence of all the elements of being are revealed within the silence of the heart. For the heart is the keynote rhythm keeper of the consciousness field, maintaining the body and the structures of energy that flow through all the structures. So we realize that the heart is fundamental. This is why all spiritual traditions speak about the heart. Why everybody knows they need to live from the heart. Why people say, don't be heartless, have a heart. Because the heart is how we find spirituality. And the shaman is truly on a journey of spirituality, an inner journey, seeking the truth that can set one free from the bondages of life. And in the process of setting oneself free from the bondages of life, one can become an agent to help others to set themselves free from the bondages of life. We call this healing. Healing is freedom. And freedom is when one is unplugged, untuned, and able to retune one's instrument into the frequencies that are best for the harmonies of being to be able to be expressed. And these frequencies are best expressed through the heart of silence. Hence, silent meditation and contemplation are a massive part of the shamanic training. Shaman go into the jungle for long periods of time, fasting, being quiet, and just sitting with the silence, sitting with that state of being from whence all things arise, and observing our triggers, observing our feelings, and observing until there's nothing left to observe. And when that silence within becomes obvious, then we notice the silence in the world. And then the omens start to speak to us through the silence. So we realize that silence is the key to understanding all of these things. It's the key to finding peace. It's the key to finding harmony. And it's the key to being in a state of consciousness where one is able to transcend one's limitations and enter into a new state of being, which is the keynote of silence. Silence is part of the vibrational change. It is the stop between the movements. And in becoming aware of the stop between the movements, the rhythm is revealed. And thus we are able to retune the proverbial instrument of consciousness, which is the agent of being. And in the retuning of this instrument of consciousness, which is the agent of being, there is the greatest healing of the soul revealed. And so spiritual healing is essentially attuning one's heart to silence and quietness so that one can experience peace. For peace brings the joy of life, and the joy of life is carried upon the silent current. Remember that next time you're considering stress or feeling like things are beyond you or out of control, that you're not able to find happiness or peace. All one needs to find happiness and peace is to go deep down into one's heart and swim into that silent place, which is the home of the shaman. This is the Bush Whisperer coming at you from Cape Colors. Have a lovely day. God bless you.